Survivor's ready. Go!
Travis spoken.
Boston Rob and Amber are gonna do it.
This is a business trip, as I like to say.
You, Brad Culpepper.
I'm tired of you and the fucking chicken.
You can call me the puppet master. They can be my little puppets.
It's not like you're making a deal with the devil here.
You get to milk your own milk, I guess.
Who the hell voted for me?
Chicken.
We got enough rocks here, too. We could build a pretty decent shelter just using rocks.
I'm supposed to talk glamour to you. You understand that better?
Direct from Hobart, it's time for the only Survivor podcast in Australia dedicated to Survivor, bringing you all the latest interviews, episodes, and opinions from the greatest reality show on the planet. It's Survivor Oz, and here's your host, Ben Waterworth.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to Survivor Oz, Australia's formerly number one TV and film podcast. We haven't been number one in about a year, so perhaps if you're listening to this, make us number one again, so you don't make a liar out of me every time I do these introductions. But we're here for the penultimate Oztopsy of season 31 of Survivor Cambodia, Second Chances. We are at that point of the season where we're all thinking about next week, who's going to win, who's going to lose, what this first is going to be, and just how much we have to talk about this evening as well. I have got 4 Ozlets on the line with me, spread right across the globe, including a man who is barely awake because it's basically 3 o'clock in the morning right now. It is Mr. Alec Culver. Alec, welcome back to Survivor Oz.
Thanks for having me. I haven't come for a few weeks because, well, it's freaking early here, but nobody else wanted to do it, so why not?
Well, look at you. That's commitment, folks. I'm just looking here at Ozlets in the chat watching this live on Spreecast. That's commitment. Hello, Ryan. Hello, Kate. Hello, Cable. Oh, Cable is here. Hello, Cable. Hello, Cable. How are you? Welcome back to Survivor Oz.
Yeah, I'm good.
You good?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sort of excited to talk about this episode. There was a lot of stuff happening, but I feel like it was a bit anticlimactic, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, right. Can I just ask one question, though, to you, Cable? It is December the 10th, 2015. Is your mind right now thinking about the finale of Survivor, or is your mind thinking about Star Wars next week?
Oh, I actually thought you were going to say Survivor application, but...
well, that too. A lot to think about.
And your newborn child.
Yes. Yes, there's actually a lot happening at the moment, so there's a lot to be thinking about. But unfortunately, as you already probably know, that I will be seeing Star Wars next week when Survivor will be on TV, so I won't see it till the next day.
So what would you be more pissed about, if I spoil Star Wars or Survivor for you?
Survivor, probably.
So I'm just going to text you at about 5 o'clock on Thursday, and all the message is going to read is Jeremy Luke dies.
Ah, yes.
Hashtag, all one word.
Who's Jeremy Luke?
I don't know. It's the preview for next season. Anyway, that's Noah's voice. Hello, Noah. Welcome back.
Hi.
How are you?
Pretty good. Yeah, Cape was mentioning in the comments, I made a joke today that We is so 2010, but still a fun episode. So we can talk about it.
I'm so confused when we get to that bit, because I'm thinking, like, yes, Cable just put in there, well, clearly they're getting the sponsorship from Nintendo. Clearly they've got to go to the toilet, or maybe they just need to get a test or something like that. Or maybe they're all Scottish and they're just talking about a lot of things. I don't know. I was confused about that bit. Speaking of we, it's Julian Gronenberg. Hello, Julian. Welcome back.
Hello. Good to be back. Kind of a shit episode, to be honest, but we'll get to that. Which is funny because I'm so high on this season, but this one was a bit of a doozy. There were good parts, but yeah, thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
Now, Julian, was it shit because Tasha didn't get voted out?
I couldn't. There was a few. We'll get to that as well, but like I actually just got a message from Trish Hegarty because I commented on her status, and she's not impressed by Tasha this episode either. So, there was a little bit of shade I would like to throw on her. as we go along.
Well, I thought you were about to say I got a message from Tasha or something like that. I just got a message from Tasha apparently right now.
No, but I did get kicked out of POS for a post about Tasha, and then I didn't mean it offensively, but so I'm back in POS.
So you've been? Oh, I was going to say you got kicked out. Oh, right, okay, but never mind. Sadly, I don't think we were officially. Anyway, whatever. I'm happy to report.
Wait, who are we talking about? What's her name?
Tash.
Oh, I get where you're going with that. Yeah, Keith.
It was a Keith Nail joke.
Oh, right. I get it.
I nailed it. Yes,
you nailed it. Well, I was happy this week. I didn't get a message from Purple Kelly spoiling the boot, so I went into this.
Can I just say, Linda got spoiled, and Cable, you're going to have to be very careful next week because Linda was in the Addicted to Survivor group, and it showed up on her thing, and she was a bit Devo. So, yeah,
Cable.
That wasn't me.
Why are we blaming Cable?
Now I'm definitely telling you when Jeremy Luke dies.
And I'll tell you one thing, if Kelly Han Solo dies, then that's even, more interesting, but we'll get to it. I've got Julian's thoughts.
Keith Chewbacca.
Oh, Kimmy Jar Jar returns. Misa back in the story. Noah,
he's a win survivor.
Oh, God. I expect. Noah, what's your thoughts on this one?
Abby Maria Admiral Akbar. Oh, time to move on from that joke.
It's a trap. Noah, what was your your take on this week's
my
episode?
Abby Maria impersonation sounds a lot like Jar Jar. Someone needs to redub Abby Maria all in Jar Jar accent. That would be great.
Oh, God.
Oh, you fucked with me, you're dead. How rude. What did I think of the episode? I thought it was pretty solid. Like, I didn't hate it. It was more of a setup or an advertisement for next episode, it seems. Like, they're really setting up the alliances and potential final threes. I still feel like it could go any way, and it's really going to be an unpredictable final, which we'll get to. But yeah, it was more of a setup for that. I was very worried because I thought Keith Nail was going home for the sudden spike in airtime, and then suddenly see him fumbling and forgetting people's names. It's very scary. Old tricks. Yeah, glad that didn't happen, but it was solid. It wasn't one of my favourites. The second last episode rarely is, but it had definitely some interesting stuff in it, and I'm flabbergasted by who got voted out, which we'll get to, but that's just amazing that can happen to her twice in 2 seasons, the biggest goat ever, or one of them. But yeah, I enjoyed the episode. Not great, but still enjoyable.
Alec, what was your take?
Yeah, it wasn't a great one. Like, I was surprised by how last week, like, they made such a predictable boot, like an actually pretty entertaining episode, and then this one, it's just like an unpredictable boot that wasn't as entertaining of an episode. And it's just like, I love Tribal Council is by far the best part of the episode when they're like talking about Nintendo and stuff like that and Wii's and stuff. But which I know we'll get to, but I love how Jeremy said, "Oh, there's multiple Wii's." Well, obviously that's not much different, but yeah, it wasn't a great episode. It's probably one of the lower ones of the season, but like, it still wasn't bad. Like, it's nothing like one of those like Redemption Island or anything. So
the best whole comment from that entire section, I don't care if we're jumping ahead, was when Jeff, I think he said it to Jeremy, he said, "How confident are you in your Wii tonight?"
Which Wii?
I'd be like, well, I think hopefully it doesn't drop on the floor or anything like that and it just goes straight into the bowl. Otherwise Louise will go off at me again for sitting in her own urine. But Cable, what did you think of the episode?
We did not need to know that.
Yeah, I was... I kind of was just treading carefully when you asked me sort of at the start. But look, again, I think there was some fun bits in it. I liked seeing a bit more of Keith and some of the confessionals were really good and stuff. But as an actual episode for Final 7 where there's so much on the line, I just felt it was just massively anticlimactic. And yeah, I don't know. I just found it really flat, to be honest. And some of the guys that have already said maybe it's setting up next week more so than anything, but still, it's I really was hoping Tasha went. And look, it's a season of second chances, right? And Jeff likes to have his throwbacks. I'm surprised he didn't remind Tasha and the rest of the crew that she did an Austin. And so Austin, Pearl Island.
Oh, right. I thought you were talking about Austin Cardi from Panama. Never mind.
No.
Yeah, I was like, what did Austin Cardi do?
Wow. The only time he ever gets referenced.
That Tasha and Austin Cardi is uncanny.
I see a picture of Tasha and I'm like, Austin Cardi. Yep, thought it was him. Julian, you kind of said your piece before. I didn't know if you had anything else to add.
No, nothing really to add. Just I agree with Cable saying, like, for Final 7, like, normally this is a pivotal vote, and I just sort of felt like it was a bit of a wasted opportunity. I thought just between Tasha and Abby, it wasn't... I'm surprised no one's targeting Kelly or Jeremy or any of those people. Like, it's just so weird to me. Like, So, yeah, I thought it was a pretty, like, in that respect, it was a pretty shit episode, but there were some funny bits. Like, I loved... We'll get to the reward challenge, but that was awesome. So, yeah, I don't know. It was... I expected it to be a lot better, to be honest.
Was that the issue with this episode? Do we feel that... I mean, I guess at this point, we're used to the penultimate episode. Noah, you said it's never usually sort of groundbreaking, but we're generally used to penultimate episode, being final 6. It's final 7, and as you said, Julian, it's usually a very pivotal vote. So, I mean, that, Julian, I think clearly was one of your key issues. It being final 7 in the penultimate episode was a real...
Yes, and I love the word penultimate too, so let's just keep saying that. Penultimate.
You love the word penultimate.
Yeah, but there is so much more game to play that I messaged you today and said, it doesn't seem like next week's the finale. It seems like this... Normally finales feel like we're in the end game. This feels like we've still got so much game to play. Like, the Cook Islands merge was only 3 more players than the people we're going into for this finale.
Yeah, it is interesting if you look at it that way. And I don't know, like we'll talk about kind of the first for this season, first time in 31 seasons, what that might be. But is this the most we've had in a finale? I can't remember if we've had a 6 ever before.
No.
Well,
there was 8 in Redemption Island.
Redemption Island.
Of course, never mind. We always blank those
6
ones
in
out.
South Pacific, but...
So let's go back then to Australian Outback, where we had 3. So we've come a long way. We've got 6. So I think we're safe to assume then that next week's episode will go pretty quickly. Because considering that one would assume that we're going to have 3 tribal councils before we get to final tribal council, maybe. That could be the first, who knows. But it's full on. I mean, I don't know. I kind of think you're right there, Noah. Like, it's kind of weird to think that we're at the finale, and maybe it's just this season. We talked a little about this last week, but there's just something about this season that is there something missing, do we feel, from this season? I mean, again, we're not trying to bag out this season. Don't start out the hate tweets to us again. But, I know.
No one hates this season.
Cable, do you feel as though something is like almost missing from this season with the vibe that you kind of get going into the finale?
Yeah, I was actually thinking about this earlier today, and I don't know if I can put my finger on it, but I feel like, Tasha made a good comment about, we want to have the best 3. The people voted us on, and it'd be a slap in the face if we took Goat to them. But then on the flip side, the editors have got, they've shown us nothing of Keith really, nothing of Kimmy, nothing of Kelly. I mean,
that's a slap in the face.
And that's what I mean. I still feel like some of the better characters or just the better players just didn't get far enough. And the reality is you can't have everyone get to the end, I know, but I don't know. I think maybe it is like, depending on, it's all your perception and how relative it is to you, like who you really wanted to see. Like, I know if I was more in Noah's shoes, I'd be, as a big Keith fan, I'd be really disappointed. And maybe I can understand if I can understand, Noah, if your feelings about this season aren't as high as maybe mine because, you're not seeing someone that you really want to see back as much. And for me, I've never given up on Survivor ever, but even when Varna got voted out, I was like that gut. I was like, my sort of, I don't know, my thoughts on the season really dropped away there. Like, I was like, oh, really? You might not have won, but I just wanted to see more of him. But, what can you do? I don't know.
What's really funny is I wrote my little words and that for the recap post, and just thinking about this, heading into the final episode, this is probably the most stacked I've ever had an episode with people that I actually really like and would be very happy to win. Like, in all honesty, there's not one person out of these final 6 that if they won, I would be disappointed with. I like all these 6 people. There's 4 that I would prefer to win over 2 of them, and 2 that I would prefer to win over all of them. But still, like, it's kind of strange. Like, it's not like most seasons I have, like, yes, I really want this person to win. I have a person like, oh, I really don't want them to win, and there's something like, oh, yeah, that'll be okay if they won. But with this, like, there's not one person that I'm going to be sitting here this time next week and going, oh, fuck, Spencer won. Like, I mean, he's probably in my bottom 2 of people I'd like to win out of these 6, but I still like Spencer, so it's not going to be really annoying. I don't know, Julian, if you're kind of feeling that way with... I mean, I know you particularly don't like the person's name beginning with T, but...
No, I would be, like, gutted if she won, but she won't, because it seems to me that we saw tonight that the cast doesn't really like Tasha. Like, no one's choosing her to go on the rewards. Like, she's got this side to her that's really kind of like, oh, no, it's okay, but secretly she's, like, bitching out. And to be honest, like, this might be controversial, but I felt like that whole drowning thing, like, I just thought that was hammed up a little bit. Like, yes, she was out of breath. Yes, she was winded, but she was holding onto a flotation device. Like, there was no, I don't know, like, maybe I'll get, like, angry tweets about that, but I don't know. There's no way she's going to win, but I would be pretty gutted if she won. Yeah.
Noah, do you have anything to add?
Well, yeah, you make a point. I'm not sure I'd be happy with everyone winning, but I guess it is all-star seasons where you don't have many goats or uninteresting players, like Heroes vs. Villains, any of those players. Maybe you wouldn't be overly happy to see Colby win based off his performance, but it's still great characters. But then the other thing is, what makes this season so exciting, and part of it comes with having 6 people and not 5, but pretty much every season since, God knows when, a long time, we've known going to the finale it's going to be between 2 people. And, like, last season, it was Mike or Carolyn is winning this game. Sam Mundell, sir, it's Natalie and Keith. One of them is winning this game. Yeah, we said maybe Jacqueline, but it was never really. And yeah, we said maybe Rodney, but we never really thought that. Cagayan, it was Tony or Spencer. Bloodless Water, it was Tyson. Maybe a bit of Monica, but it was Tyson. Caramoan, it was Cochran. Like, this one, we'll get to it, but there are 4 people who could win this game. Mm-hmm. Some more likely than others, but there are 4 people going into it where, like, we don't have a clear idea of who's going to win, which makes it super exciting, because it's not last season where it's, well, if Carolyn gets voted out, Mike wins. If Mike gets voted out, Carolyn wins. It's, if Tasha got voted out, Spencer, Jeremy or Wentworth could win. If Wentworth got voted out, Jeremy could win. Like, there are so many things going on in next season, so that's what makes it super exciting, just extending on you like everyone left in the game. Like, it's going to be a very fun finale.
Well, I was thinking that, and Zachary actually, funnily enough, puts an interesting point in the group, because I was thinking about kind of the question he just posed, like, when was the last season where you thought, who is winning? He's put Nicaragua. I was thinking...
South Pacific.
Well, I was almost going to say Philippines, because I kind of think going into that...
Yeah, but we all knew Malcolm was coming back.
True, but, if you put that aside, Malcolm...
I'd say South Pacific.
I thought Scoopin could win, and
Me too, actually.
and Denise really. So that for me personally would be the last season where I probably legitimately was like, oh, although last season, having been in a room with you, Noah, and Paul, we were very high on the Carolyn v Mike situation, but obviously in hindsight that was a bit dumb. But yeah, it's fascinating.
I think South Pacific.
Yeah, I reckon that would be probably a good call. Julian, what would you say?
Oh, look, I think it is pretty unpredictable, and it's crazy that there's 6 in the final, like, that's as well. So we've got so much still to get through, and it's going to be I almost think if it is a final 3, like I'm not. I suppose I'd rather, but the whole episode is just going to be tribal councils next week if it's only 2 hours. So that'll be interesting.
Kill two birds with one stone. They like to have these standing still for ages challenges. Have them sit still for ages at tribal council. The final immunity challenge. You must sit and not move. Cable, what do you think? Kind of
sleeping lions.
What do I think about what?
Life. What's your thoughts on life? No, it was the last season that you maybe went in really not having a clue who could win.
Nicaragua's probably a good one. Like just off the top of my head, when I saw Zachary write that in I thought Fabio could win, but he had to win all the challenges. So it was a bit, you sort of thought, I don't know, there was a few options there. They were targeting Fabio, and he obviously won some immunities that saved his ass. So, and it was the closest last vote too. And that was probably the last season where it was really up in the air for me. But I think it also comes down to the editing. Like there's always that 2 or 3 that are fairly strong in the editing that you're like, well, it has to be one of those people. And there's the 2 or 3 that sort of get ignored. Like you could say Kimmy's that this year and Keith. And then last year it was sort of Sierra. You sort of think they might win it, but it'd be really surprising for anyone that has bugger all edit to win a season.
Alec?
So I was just going to bounce off Cable's point about how, like, there's not that many characters or whatever going into it. I feel that the editors never really gave us, especially, like, Keith and Kimmy. It's not like they're, like, boring characters or whatever. These are, like, 2 of the best characters. Like, this season they're focusing a lot more on the strategy, and that's probably why it's, especially, like, this type of episode was underwhelming, because, like, Abby, we got a great character throughout the whole season, but, like, Keith and Kimmy, who are great characters, we haven't gotten much of it at all. But I would say probably the closest finale to this one, I would probably have to say would be South Pacific or Nicaragua in the recent seasons. The only other one that I think was even more who was going to win up in the air, I would probably say would be Heroes versus Villains, because pretty much any one of those final 5 could have won it, depending on who won, except Russell, of course. But yeah, it was like between Parvati and Sandra and like Jerry, it was like one of those 3 was most likely going to win, and it was like just how and stuff, like, so. It's
a good point, and I like your sort of point there on the characters too. That could be a big reason of it. I'm just actually thinking that on the 2 previous full All-Star seasons, Heroes vs. Villains, I went into that with my 3 favourites being Colby, Jerry, and Russell, and they went 5th, 4th, 3rd. And in All-Stars, my 2 favourites into that finale were Rupert and Jenna, and they went 4th and 3rd. So clearly, next week, how it's going to go will be Kelly, Jeremy, Kimmy, then Keith. So the top 2 will be Spencer and Tasha.
Your lack of faith in Keith is very disturbing.
The force is not strong with betting Keith.
Could you imagine Keith as a Jedi? I'm a Jedi.
Oh, the force
the hillbilly Jedi.
Who would have ever thought I would be on Tatooine? If they said I would be on Tatooine,
they thought I'd be on a spaceship to Mars.
But I'm on Tatooine.
Survivor on I am. There we go. Somebody please. Alina, I want you to make Keith nail a Jedi in a poster.
Luke, go to Dagobah to get your training from Keith.
I killed younglings. Yes, we're all thinking about Star Wars. Get over it. It's 2015. We haven't seen a new one in 10 years, all right?
Keith slaughtering the youngling.
Oh, God.
I asked the Jedi evil.
Oh, God. Midi-chlorians. Speaking of
Keith... an angel? Keith quotes Star Wars. It's a trap!
Survivor ain't fun. Being a Jedi is fun.
Wesley, I'm your father!
No!
He'd just be like, okay. I don't even know what we're talking about here.
That means Wesley, I'm your father.
I think I want to talk about this now. I know we're going all over the shop, but one thing that the main part, the vote at the end, the Abby goes. Now, Noah, you brought it up that she's kind of a unique position in Survivor, that she's been on 2 seasons, is arguably the biggest GOAT on each of the seasons she's been on, yet she still doesn't make the end. It's kind of funny how, like, we have these categories of, like, who's the best player never to have won, and there's always, like, these, blah, 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 should have made it to the end, but they didn't, blah, 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 shouldn't, and she's always probably going to go down as, like, the one player who should have made it to the end both times, based on the fact that she would have easily lost. This whole decision for Spencer to kind of go against Abby, take out Abby, I mean, it wasn't necessarily, his vote that did it. I guess it is in a way, but just thoughts on this vote. Again, jumping well ahead here, kind of going all over the shop, but I feel this could be a topic that we're going to talk a little bit about, so we'll give a bit of time to this. I'll start with you, Cable. Was this the right move? Should Spencer have taken out Abby, or should he taken out Tasha?
It was the worst move in the history of Survivor. Maybe that's a bit over the top, but it was a terrible move for him. But even Tasha changing it, they're going for Keith, which would have been a good move because he is good at the challenges if they actually watch San Juan del Sur. And he's been good in this one for 52. Is he 52?
54.
54. He's just amazing at those challenges. And so he's beating them. And to be honest, right now, the only people I see actually winning challenges are Keith, after Joe, was Keith, Kelly, and probably Spencer. Jeremy's hopeless at challenges. And, look, I don't know. Look, I see where Tasha's coming from. We don't want goats. We want to have the best 3 get to the end and all that sort of stuff. But it's just, from her point of view, if she wants to win, why would you go with Jeremy and Spencer? Because you ain't going to win. And then why would you want to take out Abby, a goat that you might be able to use in the end? Because she's not going to get a vote. So I just think it was risky. They already took a risk keeping Joe an extra week. Now they're going to take a risk keeping Keith. I think that's just dumb, real dumb. Well, but that's just me.
Well, just quickly, Cable. You weren't on the episode last week, but we talked a little bit about this last week. The whole going to the end and beating the best. Which, look, I can see the logic. I mean, you're a competitive man, Cable. I'm sure you would like that. And it's kind of if you were to play 1-on-1 with basketball, and who would you rather beat, me or Michael Jordan? Bragging rights. You've beaten Michael Jordan. That's fucking awesome. Well, thank you. No, that means a lot to me. But, also, deep down, you want to still just win in general. You want to beat the best, but you also want to win. Surely giving yourself the best opportunity to win is to take the people you're going to beat at the end, not just, I might beat them and it will feel better because they were great players.
Look, it's a nice theory, and how often I think feels like every 2 or 3 seasons we hear about only the best players get to the end. No, it's all about honor and all that sort of stuff. Especially when you go back to Token Cheens and Coach is all about the best people get to the heroes get to the end. But the reality is people want to get to the end and give themselves the best shot to win $1 million. And if that means taking out your biggest threats, you do that. I mean, it's just silly. You've known these people for 39 days. Who cares? I don't know. I just think it's just, I don't know. I think Spencer's made a bad move as well. I think him or Tasha going more with the women, or Keith and Abby and Kimmy, would have given themselves a better chance than going up against Spencer and Jeremy, or in that threesome. I don't think it's, again, that's just my opinion, but I just think it's a silly move.
What's interesting is that I watched the episode. Straight away I've messaged Noah, Spencer's made a dumb move, stupid. Kind of in the heat of the moment, but, Noah and our post-episode chat, I'm still with you, Cable. I honestly think it was a stupid move, but I think some of what Noah has said to me makes sense, and we'll hear from Noah in a minute so he can explain that a little bit more. But, I just, as somebody who would really want to win this game, if I'm in Spencer's position, I'm taking people who I can beat, because this is me. I'm not going to beat Michael Jordan. So therefore, I need to beat the Ben Waterworths out there. So I'm going to take the Abbeys and go to the end with them. But anyway, no, I'll save you to last, because you'll give us some good shit. Not that Julian or Alec won't either. I just kind of threw shade on those two. Julian, what's your thoughts?
Good shit, mate. Good shit. I think it's a bad move as well, and I also think it's weird that Tasha didn't go with the all women's alliance. Like, that just died in the arse this episode, and that was really weird too. Like, it was just like it was just not even on the radar. Like, Kimmy, like, it wasn't even discussed really again. And for Spencer, like, he had that deal at the challenge all set up. Like, he's got such a better chance with Keith, Abby, and potentially Wentworth as well. Like, I don't know. I can't really see the logic in it. And so, I don't know. Like, maybe they're thinking about they don't want to burn too many bridges because of jury votes. I don't know. Like, but I would have really preferred that he had just stuck with that final 3 deal that he made at the challenge, because, I mean, it would have been, I knew that wasn't going to happen at that point in the episode, because it was like, well, they're not going to show us this if it's actually going to happen like that for the vote. But nonetheless, yeah, it was a stupid move for the most part, and for Tasha as well. So yeah.
Mr. Culver.
So I agree that it was kind of a stupid move. I feel that Abby's, like how you were talking about how big of a goat Abby is, and she always gets voted out and stuff. I feel the thing is with Abby, she's too big of a goat. Like, like, for example, Philip in Redemption Island. The only reason why he was in the end was because someone like Boston Rob was able to control him enough. I feel Abby hasn't had that player who's been able to control her. Like, the best players of the season hate Abby. Like, Denise hated Abby and stuff like that. It's just like, and so I feel Tasha was just like giving up on Abby. Like, she tried back in Encore and stuff like that to like control Abby, but like nothing had happened. And so I feel that's probably the reason why, like, Tasha decided to get rid of Abby, even though I feel she screwed her own game over on it. I kind of knew Abby was going home as soon as Spencer said I want to go with it. Like, I feel that my best chance to win is versus Abby and Keith, because that is his best chance to win. But like, and then he votes her out, which, so like, I can understand it a little bit, because like nobody wants to trust somebody who wants to take risks, as she said herself. And like, and then she took a risk, and it ended up like, she ended up being voted out because she was stupid and voted for Keith. But yeah, and so that's the only logic I can find it in, is that she's kind of too volatile, and you never know which side she's going to side with and stuff. So,
all right, Groves, hit us.
Yeah, I feel like the idiot now who put Spencer at the top of my power ranking. So
don't feel like an idiot. I guarantee you, Jared and Colin will too, because I seem to be the idiot every week the last 2 or 3 weeks. Like, you've all put Tasha last week and #1 Spencer the week before. I'm the odd sheep out, so it's me who's the idiot.
Yeah, you were a bit odd the other week. Can I just say I'm not a fan of Spencer. I didn't even vote him on, so this is not biased at all. And can I also say I don't think he made a great move. I agree with everyone. I thought it was a pretty bad move. That being said, we're acting like he's given up his game, and I view it as Spencer pretty much has more options than any single other person in this game. So while I don't agree with his move, everyone else has limited chances of getting to the end. He has endless roads to get to the end. And I agree, taking the honourable people to the end is just dumbass. Dumb. And Keith is one of the best, so let's not even get into that debate. That's kind of an insult from Tasha to say, oh, we can't take them because America voted us on. Which, well, America plus Australia voted Keith Nail on.
Keith would have gotten more votes than Tash. Let's be honest. Keith got more votes than Tash.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not hating on Tash like everyone else here. Like, I'm just mad on her. Like, I don't like her or dislike her. But that rubbed me the wrong way, because I voted Keith Nail on. I didn't vote Spencer or Wentworth on. And I voted Kimmy on. And Abby. But yeah, Spencer has endless roads to the end, so while it wasn't the greatest move, Spencer can go with Tasha and Jeremy. And he also didn't rub them the wrong way this week by losing their trust, because he stuck true to them. So, while that's not the best final 3 for him, because Jeremy would probably beat him, he's still there in the end. he could do the flip side and he could go to Wentworth, and Wentworth has no one. So of course she's going to go with him if he comes back to her. He could go to the final three with Wentworth and Keith. Or he could take out Jeremy and Tasha. Let's not forget there's an idol. And at the final four, blindside Wentworth and have the final three with Keith and Kimmy, and he wins the game. Like, of course there's idols, so it's going to shift up the game. But someone like Jeremy, and I'm sorry if I'm rattling on, but someone like Jeremy, he has no options other than Tasha and Kimmy and Spencer. If they screw him over, he's not working with Wentworth. They've never worked together at all in the entire game. They wouldn't start now. Wentworth, she has to rely on Keith and Spencer and maybe Kimmy flipping. She can't go with Jeremy and make a new alliance. Well, she could, but it's not going to happen. Unlikely, especially after losing Abby. Keith is just all over the place, and I love it. It's glorious. Keith Bumble all the way to the end, but look at everyone in the game. There's no one who has more paths to the end and more opportunities than Spencer. And again, I say that as someone who didn't vote him on the season, who's not a fan of him. But it was a bad move, but it's not the end of his game like we're talking about, I don't think. He's at the top of my rankings, and I'll stand by it, even if I am an idiot.
Yeah, I don't think it's the end of his game either at all. Like, he does, you're right. Like, he does have a lot of moves still.
Yeah, I was quick to jump the gun when I messaged you saying, well, he lost his game.
I probably rambled there. I'm sorry. I don't even know if I made a point.
I've put him at number 4 in my rankings. I still think he can win the game. But I've got him as the least likely out of the 4 who can win. Yeah. Anyway, Kay, were you about to say something?
Oh, no, I was going to say, like, Noah's made some really good points. I think Spencer's still in a good position where he has got, he can make a lot of moves, he can zig and zag, whereas I totally agree. Noah's sort of named a few people that kind of have only really one plan going forward, and if that changes on them, they're probably screwed. But I still think the move, Spencer probably lowers his chances of winning, or his percentage. I think still going the other way. If he had voted the other way, I think he gives himself a greater advantage of winning. Whereas the way he's gone, he's taken a big punt, or whether he's overconfident or what. I just think he's, instead of maybe being 50% chance to win, he's dropped it to 25. Like, it's just, again, I don't know. He's going to have to pull something.
Well, they really shouldn't have voted out Fishback. Let's go all the way back to there.
Do you think
they would not be in this pick?
Part of the fan in Spencer thinking that, you know, if I win this game, it's going to be a more respected win than if I beat Abby and Keith, if I beat, you know, Kelly and Jeremy. I don't know.
That is kind of a good argument.
I kind of think we're reading too much into that throwaway line of the honourable. I think he's just purely sticking by his alliance. This has been his alliance since New Bion. Like, this isn't necessarily keeping honourable. Yeah, go. Sorry.
I was just going to say, I just think Tasha said that because it was convenient for her, because she did just want to get out Abby or Keith anyway. Like, I don't really think that she believes that, like, anyway. 100%.
I think we're reading a lot into it.
Yeah.
Can I just point out something, the elephant in the room? It's not really the elephant in the room. I think it was brought up in this episode. Why the fuck is nobody ever targeting Jeremy? He's never targeted. Like, this is...
Agree 100%.
I'm not saying this is a bad thing, because I fucking love Jeremy, and I would be over the moon if he won this season. But why? Why is nobody targeting him? Like,
well, and Spencer for that matter too.
Yeah. Well, true. But Spencer has been targeted this season. Like, Jeremy hasn't been targeted once.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's
shouldn't have
a
voted
good.
out Sierra. She was trying to get him.
Well, that's a good point, like Ben makes too. It's like, that's the one thing I find amazing, that Jeremy hasn't really come up once. So you can imagine if, say, Spencer and Jeremy get to the end. I guess the assumption we all think is Jeremy wins, but Spencer's got a good argument to say, look, I had the hardest journey to get here. I've been a target a couple of times. I've been had this many votes against me. Jeremy's never really been a target ever. And maybe that's, who knows, that could be where Spencer comes from.
Jeremy's not a shoo-in. Like, Jeremy has a huge chance of winning, but if those two were in the finals, it's not like, oh, game over, Jeremy wins. It's going to be a close one.
I really hope that with all this anticipation we're building up for this, we actually have a close vote too, like, because we kind of felt this way with
There's
Mike.
going to be a world.
Well, we kind of felt this way with Mike Caroline, like, oh, this is going to be so close, and it really wasn't. And we've talked a lot about this, that we haven't had that one vote deciding, close vote since Nicaragua. So it'd be great just to have that, even if it, came down to that. I want to talk... Actually, no, before I talk about edits, we should eulogise Abby, because I'll forget to do it anyway. I'm sad, not only because my guaranteed $30 is gone. Sorry, Louise, that extra Christmas present isn't coming your way this year. But, like...
Don't lie, you already spent it on burgers. You already knew you were going to build a burger.
She is just... gold to watch. Like, she is great television, and I can't fathom anybody not liking Abby based on her entertainment factor. We've had her on this show several times. She's always great to chat to, and I'm looking forward to getting her again other seasons. I loved the whole interaction between her and Keith, when Keith is like, well, if you turn against me, I'm going to come to Brazil and hunt you down. And she's like, you'll never find me in Brazil. Like,
she get kicked out like what the crap, right?
It was so just like...
That was classic villain mastermind.
Oh, it was great. It was so good. But,
is Abby a Sith Lord? We're talking about Star Wars.
Yes.
Search your inner feelings inside you. No, I can't do it. I can't do Abby. But yeah, isn't it amazing?
That sound like more like Jar Jar.
Isn't it amazing? As Noah said, like, this is Abby Marie Gomez. Like, everybody on every season she has been on talks about how annoying she is and how they can't stand her. And Jeremy, I could never date her. And, like, she is Sagittarius. And, I mean, this is a perfect... Can I just say, it's worked out well for us this week. So we've got Denise Stapley on this week, recapping this week's episode. So perfect timing to get Denise on. It's just worked out well. Oh, you knew spoilers. No, we didn't. But how does this woman not make it to the end as somebody to beat easily? 2 seasons. Noah, I'm going to start with you this time. Eulogise Abby, but come on, isn't she the most clearest cut, take to the end person in the history of Survivor?
Yeah, it blows my mind this can happen twice. But, sorry, I just had to add something into the chat there about
You beat me to it before I was going to answer that to Zachary. Hi, Zachary.
Sorry, a bit distracted there. Yeah, blows my mind. One of the biggest goats ever. And I get that she's annoying, but we're talking at the final 5 and at the final 7. We're not talking, oh yeah, early jury member, get her out just before the merge because she's annoying. She gets so close to the end where it's like 5 days away and they vote her out, and maybe you could make a case for Philippines. I actually think she would have got a few votes. She wouldn't have won, but she probably would have got like Pete and Artis's votes. But it blows my mind. She's maybe not the biggest goat, but easily one of the... Even she admitted that she thought she was a goat, and then she said, I have to figure out who I'm going to take to the end with me, which is kind of funny. But yeah, it's crazy. And I was saying it last week, if she goes over Joe, that's the craziest thing that's happened in the show. But yeah, as for her, I voted her on, love her. I think she's really entertaining. Not sad to see it go, only because it's the penultimate episode, to quote Ben. It's kind of like, well, there's not too much wiggle room here. Like, she either goes now or she's in the final episode. So I would have liked to have seen her in the final, but I'm not sad to see it go. As for her, I don't think she's a lock to return, but I think she has a huge shot because they brought her back as a villain, and they got a villain once again who causes entertaining television. So they got exactly out of Abby Maria what they wanted to based on her first time, unlike some people who they've brought back this season. So she could easily be back again. She delivered this season. She was entertaining. She got a huge pre-merge edit, a bit quieter post-merge, but she was great. I love her. Great addition to the season. Not sad to see her go because it's the last episode, but yeah, really entertaining and maybe back again. Glad she was on.
Alec?
Probably the answer to the GOAT thing is what I said earlier, is like she really hasn't had anybody that can control her very well. Like, Pete was the person who controlled her in Philippines, and like, as soon as Pete was gone, I guess nobody wanted to deal with her. And so I feel that's kind of what it was. And this time, like, Tasha just eventually gave up. Like, Wentworth was the only one who was willing to deal with her at that point. And it was just like, so I just feel that she kind of digs her own grave sometimes when it comes to being a goat. She's too volatile and stuff like that. Like, at least Will last season was like, he was a personable person, like somebody that like was easy to get along with, unless you're Shireen. But like Abby is just like, I guess nobody could really get along with her, and that's probably the reason why and stuff. But as far like, I love her, she's great entertainment. I still remember the very first episode where she's like, I'm gonna be a changed person, and she's yelling at PG for stealing her bracelet. Like, I thought it was like, I thought she was entertaining. Like, I didn't watch Philippines live because I was on my mission and stuff, but like when I went and watched Philippines, I loved her then because she was so entertaining. She was yelling at RC every like 10 minutes, and like it was fun to watch. And like she wasn't as good this season because probably the edit of it, but she was great like back in Angkor and early Takeo and stuff. And it was just like post-merge she wasn't as volatile and stuff, but like as a character I voted her back on, so I'm glad she was back on and stuff. And so hopefully she'll come back another time, and maybe she'll make it to the end for once.
Cable.
Halfway through the episode when I think we all sort of thinking it might be Keith, could be Abby, could be Tasha. I just had that deja vu. It was like, I think everyone deep down wants to take Abby to the end, but then I think it gets to a point where they just hit that wall where they just cannot deal with her anymore. And I think, Ben, you've got that in a few of your interviews with people from Philippines, that I think people did have it in their mindset to maybe take Abby because they knew they could beat her, but it was getting to a point it was too hard to manage her and they couldn't deal living with her anymore. And maybe that's the same thing that's happened here. We didn't see a lot of it in the later stages of the game. She didn't seem to be annoying. The one thing both me and my girlfriend were noticing, though, tonight, the one thing we sort of haven't really discussed and thought was a really stupid movie by Tash and Jeremy was when Abby and they're at camp and they're like, oh, can you go away so we can talk? Like, we know she's a volatile person. She can be a swing vote. When it's so borderline and they've got this trust in Spencer, why would you alienate Abby? Just walk away or have a chat or even have a fake discussion in front of her to make her feel comfortable and maybe get her as a vote. I just thought that was a bit stupid, really, as well, because that could have put a nail in their coffin as well, just to piss off Abby. I don't know. I thought that was really, really dumb by Tasha and Jeremy.
It was a very strange Tasha episode, wasn't it, with her attitude, a lot of this. Like, she was day 35. I see your point, but
well, can we talk about her after?
Yeah, we definitely will. But I see your point, and sort of you can't deal with her anymore. They've made it 35 days. That's like them getting to day 35 and going, oh god, I need a cheeseburger now. Sorry, I can't do it anymore. Got to go. Like 4 more days you can put up with her. 4 more freaking days.
Well, perfect, Carly, you did that.
Hey, leave her out of this. I lost my point now. Julian, eulogise Abby.
Oh, God, I've got heaps to say about Abby. Like, can I just say that the season was definitely richer for having her last so long. And she was a massive character this season. She had a huge part in getting rid of Shirin, Vetus, PG, Varna, and even Wu. Like, she was just instrumental. Like, it was getting crazy, actually. It's like, she was frustrating as well as awesome to watch in the beginning. She kept taking out a lot of the people that I liked, but she was just, she's amazing to watch. Like, she had some great quotes even this episode. She's like talking about who she was going to take to the final 3. She's like, oh, I know people think I'm a goat, but, you know, villains have more fun. Like, just, I don't know. I just loved her. And, like, even when she got voted out, I don't know. I feel like a lot of stuff Abby says gets taken a bit too literally. Like, yes, she's, like, volatile and yes, she's crazy, but she's also a bit tongue-in-cheek, like, as well. Like, she stirs the pot, but she's also, like, I reckon if you knew her in real life, you could have a lot of fun, probably in small doses with Abby, but she was pretty gracious. And like when she got voted out, she was like, "Yeah, well played, guys. Like, good luck and stuff." I just think the reason why they did take her out is because you do need to trust people a little bit at this point of the game. Like, you can't do voting blocks as much, and it's just too risky having her around because she could just flip it on a dime. And I suppose anyone can, but she makes it known. Like, she's like, "I'll fucking flip on you," or whatever. And so, yeah, like,
Jeez,
I don't
talk
know,
about
that
Jar Jar.
I'll fucking flip on you.
So, like, she was just
That's
amazing.
not even
so
Jar
glad.
Jar. That's like a Tauntaun or something.
My Tony impersonation.
I don't know. I was so glad. Like, I don't mind that she went, like Noah said, because like it's the penultimate, episode. So yeah, like she was amazing part of this season.
Can I just point out, Noel Groves, Kelly quit on day 28, not day 35. So whatever. Yeah. Sorry, I'm completely lost by Julian. I'm Happy Maria. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, let's talk about Tasha, Miss Fox. I can't say her name. Tasha, whatever. She was fascinating this episode. Like
Keith.
What's her name? She was fascinating this episode because she was like, I don't know how to describe her. I don't know if it's getting to her. Like, day 35, like, she just seems very, like, she had a lot of attitude this episode. And then, the whole challenge situation there and sort of needing help and then getting medical. And I loved the scuba guys that came out of nowhere to say, like, we'll talk about the challenge. But what was it? What were they called? Safety. Like, I love how Jeff just got his minions out there, like, safety, like, save her,
get a boat,
like, action, Jeff with his minions. But yeah, Tash, Julian, I know you love her. Like, this episode, she was an interesting.
Like, can I just say, like, it was so clear that she was just plain old pissed that she didn't get picked for the challenge. Like, that's what it was. Like, and then she just tries to, like, disguise it, like, oh no, like, does her whole sweet facade, like, it's all good, like, whatever, like, but, like, I think it is getting to her. And there's this dichotomy of, I'm so sweet, but, like, don't you fuck with me, and, I don't know. I just think a lot of her doesn't ring, like, she's not authentic, like, and I just think that I actually don't think that she could win. I know we're saying there's 4 potentials, but I just do not see her getting barely any votes. Like, who would vote for Tasha? Like, of all the people on the jury, I don't see many people.
But I feel like we haven't got a lot of like, yeah, we've heard behind the scenes stories, but then we've also heard exit interviews. Like, I think Stevens, yeah, I had no problem with her. I think maybe Wigglesworth said, yeah, I've got no problems. So, like, is there really a story about the jury hating her though? Like, obviously really. Cass is not voting, but I could see Savage, I could see Wigglesworth, I could see
Savage. I don't know. It depends who she's with, but, like, I just don't think
Savage was very pro Tasha in the Ponderosa Abbey video.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know, like, but her episode this week was really interesting, actually. Yeah, to see the different side of her again.
Alec.
I feel this episode for Tasha was very similar to, like, around this time for Jervis in Blood vs. Water. Like, going into, like, the last few episodes, everybody's thinking, oh, like, Tyson is a good person, but Jervis is like, Tyson's getting all the heat from all the moves, but Jervis is just, like, there, and he's, like, has the great social game. And then, like, he ends up screwing it all up with, like, 5 days left or whatever. And I feel that's kind of, like, what this episode is for Tasha. It's, like, for the longest time, everybody's saying, okay, Jeremy Spencer and Tasha, they're getting, like, the best winners edits and stuff. And then all of a sudden, this episode comes out and we see, like, Tasha just pretty much annoying everybody, like, trying to make moves that she doesn't need to and stuff. Like, she's making a move to get rid of one of the very few people that she can beat and stuff. And it's just, like, I feel that's kind of what it is that Tasha, this episode, like, her and her, like, snark attitude, her having to make moves that she doesn't need. Like, if she had gotten rid of Keith, I think we'd all be saying, like, this that was a good move and stuff like that, but her getting rid of Abby could have screwed her over. And like I feel that's kind of the edit that she's getting is more of like oh, she was a good person to win, but like now she's kind of getting too carried away. So
I like that. Good point. Cable?
Yeah, I agree with what everyone said so far. It was an interesting episode. Like, it seemed like she was definitely had the attitude. And it started off with that the start of the episode, which we haven't talked about, was the whole Keith vote from last week that he gave to Tasha, that we thought, oh, he doesn't know what's going on. And then we sort of find out that he thought he knew what was going on, or he wasn't told, and he thought that was the plan kind of thing. So there was a little bit more of a story there, and obviously she started to get pissed off, so she even said, I'll put a target on Keith's back. And then it was sort of a bit downhill from there. I don't know. I felt like her edit in this episode sort of made me think she either's going to get voted out, which didn't happen, or she's going to get to final three, and that's maybe they're showing us enough to say just what, like Alex said, that it should be like the Jervis, get to the end and not really get any votes. Yeah.
Noah?
Yeah, I'm not going to hate on her as much as a lot of people. I don't love Tasha, but she's just like, I've got no issue with her. She's just there. I think she's playing a better game this time around, at least.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, I think maybe we're underselling her. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to have this fan fiction about Tasha the mastermind or she's going to win everything or anything like that. But I think we might be underselling her. It was a unique edit because, again, I thought for a moment maybe this would be her boot episode. I also thought Keith and Abby, but I thought, well, maybe this is the end. The other option is maybe we're reading too much into it, and maybe because Joe and Fishback and all the big airtime getters are gone, maybe they're just showing us more of these players like Tasha and Keith. Like, maybe we're reading a bit into it and it's just there's more room for them now. But I don't know, I think there's no need for her to do anything like that. But at the same time, Survivor has this kind of myth where to get votes, apparently you have to make big moves. And she kind of made a good point that she has been in the shadow of Jeremy and Spencer. And that if she's to make the end, she needs something on her resume. Not saying that it's a great move to get rid of Abby Maria, but she needs something on her resume. And Keith and Jeremy and Spencer, not Keith, have everything. But maybe just throwing it out there. Don't tweet me. But maybe it's like a Natalie Anderson thing, where at the very end her edit just spikes crazy and she just goes for it and wins at the end because maybe it was a quiet edit, but then jumped right at the very end like Natalie Anderson. Although I think Natalie was more the last 3 episodes than the last 2, but that's another possibility. I'm just throwing out things here, but I think we're underselling her a bit. Might not have the best social game, but Savage was advocating like hell for her. Again, I think she could get Wigglesworth. It's all dependent on who she's with in the finals, but she could get Wigglesworth, she could get Savage, she could get Fishback. Not sure about her and Joe's relationship. Sierra and her was never really explored, so we have no idea. She's not getting Cass's vote, that's for sure. She's not getting Abby's vote, that's for sure. But I don't know, I think maybe underselling her. I definitely put her in the 4 people that could win. Again, I think she's probably the least likely at this point based on her edit and game. But I definitely think she could win. But just a final note, I think we're talking about Spencer, dumb move. Tasha, dumb move. I think the dumbest move is all 4 women and this build up to the Women's Alliance. That Women's Alliance is beneficial for all 4 of those women, and how that didn't come and end up being the thing is beyond me, because if they did that, all 4 of them have a better chance of winning, which is just the sad reality that the men at this point, besides Keith, have the better shot.
Could it still happen?
So it could still happen, but I don't know if there's that trust there. Plus, it's going to be difficult. They would have to get Keith on their side, and then the Idols is going to shift it up. So I think it can still happen, but I think Tasha showed this week that she's not going to let it happen, and also Kimmy. So I say let's not get up on Tasha and Spencer. I say let's get up on all 4 women, because if that happened, then that would have been the best move possible at the end of this game.
I kind of put in my rankings that I could see it maybe happening. Keith goes next, and final five. Kelly, Tasha, and Kimmy. But I don't know if Kimmy would leave Jeremy at that point. I don't know, but she was willing to do it before, so who knows?
Can we just say no Kimmy in this episode?
I know, bullshit.
That was second last episode, 7 people in the game.
And let's point it out. Go to her Facebook. Made it to the finale.
We made it to the finale.
She's on it again. We love you, Kimmy. But I know this is like it started off so well. We got a fairly good spread of the confessionals. Like I think they all had a confessional, except for Jeremy and Kimmy within like the first 2 minutes, pretty much. And then where was she? Like she got a question at Tribal, but whatever. Fuck you, CBS.
That was shocking. Hey, no Kimmy. Like this is the point that there's no excuse when there's only this few people left. Like you can spread around the confessionals now. Like, God,
got to put it out there. I know my statistic has always been Australian Outback person makes it to the final 4 in a returning season. But no matter what happens to Kimmy in the next couple of votes, she's made it to the finale. This is incredible. This is just
record.
Seriously, like. Can we just point this out again? Because I think this is incredible. That every single time an Australian Outback returning player comes back, one person makes it to the finale. That is insane. Like, it's so good.
Another stat that Troy Magnard pointed out to me is that every returning player season, the season, he called it the safety year numbers stat. Every season, the season that has the most representatives always has people in the finale. Or even the final 3, I think the stat was. So this time we got 2 Kageyam people going in. We started with 4, so that's another thing. If you look
3
back.
San Juan del Sur, and we started with 3.
That's true.
Yeah, but I'm
All
saying
Stars Australia Heroes was at Cook.
Well, you count Micronesia for that, so it's kind of cheating, but
that's a good point.
Not really.
That's a very good point.
And can I say the Hunapu reference was exciting as well?
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. That
amazing.
was brilliant, because, I mean, we talked about that with Reed the other day in his interview.
I love that.
And, like, the fact, first of all, Final 6, all 3 San Juan del Sur people are there. Hashtag team SJDS. I just had to remember the abbreviation there. And the fact that they're all from the same tribe, like, this is incredible. Like, this has got to be a first, surely, like, in any season. Because
amazing. Which, again, made me thought, maybe Keith's going home tonight because they mentioned San Juan del Sur and there's all this thing about it. But no, amazing.
How good would it be if, like, all 3 of them, mate, like, if it was a Jeremy, Kelly, Keith final 3, like,
that would be amazing.
That would be awesome.
That'd
if
make
that actually
money.
happens.
But
we're going a bit long here. Well, not really. We don't really have a time frame with this, but still a bit to cover. Quickly, I don't know why I'm complaining. Challenges, anything really to talk about? We had individual reward again, yay. The reward was great.
And the drama proves why you always have individual ones,
exactly. Reward was fantastic. The cultural reward, great to see. And that food, oh my God, looks fantastic. Keith, yes.
Well, can we talk about the food for a minute? I thought that was ridiculous. They went to CM Reap, like, old ancient Cambodia temples, and they had mac and cheese, spaghetti bolognese.
It looked delicious, though.
But my all-time favourite takeaway shop in Hobart is Cambodian food, and they had mac and cheese at the Cambodian temple.
I remember after Survivor China, though, and they got that traditional food and they were really pissed. Like, ugh. I think I heard Jeff say from now on we're just doing American comfort food because, like, this is what they really want. Like, and there was, like, a bit of an uproar, like, yuck, we don't want this kind of thing. This is supposed to be a reward. But, yeah, like, it is kind of weird. Like,
this is like the first season to bring the culture into it in years.
Yeah.
I loved Keith, and I'm sure, Noah, you were just kicking your ass. I'm reading a quote here. Laughing your ass off. If you had asked where Keith Neal was for the last 35 days, and they said the temple in Cambodia on a rocket ship from Mars, they'd be saying he was on a rocket ship to Mars. They don't believe he's in Cambodia.
I
they know you're in Cambodia, Keith.
I loved his look when they were doing the dance, and he was just like, huh? And then he said, "What's that thing called? The dancing thing she did." And Kelly's just like, I don't know, Keith.
We've mentioned it. Oh, when they're walking through the thing, looks like Raiders are the last ark.
Yeah.
I love Spencer's like throwaway comment there. Indiana Jones has probably been here. Like, it's a character, Spencer. But we've mentioned it a few times, but I was cracking up laughing when he's there and he's like, well, Jeremy had Val and they were like this together and all this sort of stuff.
Oh, I felt bad for him.
And then, I forgot her name, Tasha.
Poor Keith. He felt bad.
We sort of compared a little bit. I think I can't remember what episode it was on, but the whole looking at Keith, comparing him to a Big Tom. I think Keith is the new Big Tom. He's two seasons in a row. He's made it very far in the game. This is a person who generally everybody likes. He's a fun, lovable character, and I think people underestimate him in the game. They kind of just think, oh, he's a bit aloof, we love him. He would never win, though. Whereas I think maybe his game's maybe a little bit underrated. I'm not too sure. But I definitely see that he's the new Big Tom. Noah, you are a Keith fanatic. So do you see him as the new Big Tom?
Well, I prefer him. Not that I dislike Big Tom, but yeah, pretty much everything adds up. Like, I'm disappointed about the edit, obviously, this season, but if they edit him a bit better, you could maybe say he's a contender like someone else there. And I agree his game is a little underrated, but I'm not going to, again, spurt this BS about Keith the Mastermind. But I do think some of his stuff does get overlooked, some of his strategy. But yeah, he's not the brightest player, but yeah, definitely the new Big Tom. And yeah, Big Tom proved on All-Stars he could go deep too.
Anybody chime in on that? I'm not going to go to each of you, so anybody got anyone to add?
Can we just call him Big Keith now?
Sure. Go for it.
Keith.
Big Keith.
But then that's Big D, so we can't call him Big Keith and Big D.
Immunity, I was just thrilled they didn't have to hang around one spot for ages, and we got that was the weirdest Jeff second chance throwback. This is the puzzle that nobody chose last season. It's
yes.
Ooh.
Ring-a-ding-ding.
That's just,
I didn't vote for this damn puzzle.
If anything, that's just lazy production. We've got this puzzle sitting around that we didn't use last season. Better use it. Oh my goodness. It was funny though, a lot of people falling over, and I guess, we sort of touched on Tasha, nearly drowning. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to add on that. Safety!
Then Jeff zooming along in the boat, jumping off.
Action Jeff. Remember Action Man, that toy they used to have in the afternoon? Action Man, the greatest hero of them all. Somebody needs to be like, Action Jeff.
Safety, minions, get out there. I'm coming on the boat.
Where's my umbrella?
Yes, where was he asking for his umbrella on the boat? He gets up, where's my umbrella? Where's my umbrella?
My face is melting.
I asked for a latte, not a cappuccino.
Yep. The budget's been cut. Last week it was an umbrella for Joe. This time Tasha gets a soggy fireman's shirt.
And the funniest bit of it all was they had that thing on a finger, obviously, to measure a pulse and that. And just as they're like, all right, Tasha, let's go, you see that random person in the background quickly grab it off a finger. It's like, oh no, she can't take that with her. That's valuable. And I saw a tweet or a comment saying that that Dr. Joe has had more screen time than Kelly Wigglesworth this season. So it's
sad but true.
Very sad but true. Yeah, I'm sort of. There's a few bits there that we're kind of gelling over, I guess. We at the bloody tribal council. We all the way home. What the fuck? I swear that's one of those moments that Jeff is actually just playing up because he's in the back of his mind. I think Jeff is just, he's a 12-year-old boy half the time. He's always talking about balls. Now he's talking about we. It was just we. Oh, anyway.
Jeff's going to laugh at who farted next time.
Yes. Okay, looking ahead to next week. Obviously a few weeks ago in the finale. I'll get to the questions. The elephant in the room again. I'm bringing that up. It's not just me because I'm an elephant. But the first thing to happen in 31 seasons. Andrew Savage alluded to this in one of his exit interviews. We saw the throwaway line from Jeff. You know, this is the first time in 31 seasons. Like, sometimes they talk these up. It's probably something like, you know, Tasha breaks her leg walking to the urn. Like, first time that's ever happened in 31 seasons. I'm throwing it out there. I'm saying Final Four. We've touched on it a few times, but it makes sense given we've got a Final Six. We've got, a jury of 10, so it could be of 9. I don't necessarily want to see it, but I'm just putting it out there given what The Amazing Race has done recently. So I want you to each give a prediction. What do you think this will be? Alec, what's your tip on what this will be?
I feel it's going to be an idol play where all the votes are cancelled out. Because Jeremy and Wentworth still both have the idol, so maybe they'll all vote for Wentworth, she plays her idol, and she voted for Jeremy, and he plays his second idol because she probably doesn't think he has the second idol and stuff. So that's what I'm going to throw out, is that they're going to have to, like, re-vote 100% at one of these tribals.
Okay. Julian?
Yeah, I agree 100% with that. Like that, and that makes me nervous because I think Spencer is on the... I think they'll have to re-vote, right? Like if all the votes are negated... They'll have to do...
What are they going to do? Revote. Okay, this tribal council's cancelled. There's still 6 of you.
Yeah, just go back.
Let's go Final Six now.
I think the idol people would still be safe, though.
Yeah, they'll still be safe. That's the thing, but that makes me nervous for Spencer because he's my pony, and then I think he's definitely going
remember,
out,
somebody also was going to have immunity at that point, so say it's final... Because can they play it at Final 5 or is Final 6 the last time?
No, Final 5 normally.
So hypothetically...
Which maybe rules out the Final Four theory.
True, but like it's a good point, though, with this double idol play, because if you think about it, like, Keith... say Keith wins immunity, Jeremy plays his idol, Kelly plays... So they're all safe, so either Tasha or Kimmy are going home.
And Spencer.
And
don't joke about Kimmy going home, Ben.
Well, yeah, no, I don't want to. Somebody calls
made it to Final 3.
She wins. I won the fucking season. Cable, what's your prediction?
Yeah, I was actually expecting maybe a double idol play tonight, or at least an idol play tonight. Yeah, I sort of... that for me, that was the feeling, and I know it's been talked about amongst us, and I think I brought it up last week as well in one of my text message questions. I think... yeah, it's like we don't know 100% what would happen if there's votes for Kelly, votes for Jeremy, so no one else has voted for. The idols cancel that out, so technically there'll be not a vote for anybody else. So I'm assuming they re-vote, but then you can't vote for Kelly and Jeremy. I think, but not too sure. I'd hate if it was a Final Four. That would suck balls. Yeah, I don't know. Could there be something else with the vote that's a little bit different that's never really happened? Like, could they actually have like a 3-way tie? Like, there's 6 left. They all, like, 3 people get voted for 2 votes each.
But we've had that before, haven't we?
We've had that multiple times.
Oh, clearly I'm not a bloody Survivor encyclopedia. Jesus.
Well, I don't think we've had it at the Final 6, to be fair.
Yeah, no. Well, that's what I mean. Like, when it's, I don't know.
Jesus, Cable.
I think it makes more sense the idle play and no votes cast, pretty much. So.
Sorry, just had to play it. Hi, Kimmy. Noah, what's your prediction?
He's a BRB.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Well, while we wait, let's hear some hold music.
Elevator music, cue.
I'd be happy if this is elevator music. Oh, Kimmy, well done. Good on her. All right, well, no.
No. I got a bit distracted with the talk. The other thing I was thinking, maybe, could there be a tie in the final 3? So, of course, when the votes are cast at the end, producers would know, and then maybe they split the vote or choose the winner. They have a challenge at the end,
I think,
or something like that.
That's possible as well. I hope so. Yeah. That would be exciting.
With a 10-person jury, that's very
Well, come
possible.
on. This is why I used to ask that question in the final 5, because I would fucking love that scenario. It'd be great. No, that
they must have a backup plan for that, don't you reckon, Ben? if that were to happen?
Of course they do. Of course, I mean, I did ask that to Mark Burnett, and he didn't even realise that it could be a tie. So
He didn't even know about the final
That was
three.
the biggest joke ever. I think that's what he's been like trying to do.
I think that have to. There's no way that they would go into that and not have some kind. But the thing is, what if they didn't? They've got months to kind of work it out because they're still going to hold it back until bloody the live reveal. So. Yeah, keep an eye on your timestamps next week, folks. Watching the episodes, because if all of a sudden we're getting to the final reveal and there's still 20 minutes left before the reunion, then I think it might be that reason.
But that's the other interesting thing. Is there a chance that, again, like I said, producers would know if there was a tie at the final tribal council? So would they try not necessarily finish it right there and then, but would they reveal that to the players or somehow say you will be?
Well, we saw him with the
LA
urn, didn't we? He was with the urn when he said it.
Yeah.
So it's something to.
How funny would it be if they
do
just
anything
split
to
the
that
$1 million?
until after it? If they didn't do it until after, and like they voted at the reunion or something, Survivor's officially jumped the shark.
If they split the $1 million, like there was like equal number of votes, so like, all right, you just have
Yes.
500,000 and you have the other. That would be pretty poxy, actually.
All right, Noah.
Well, yeah, Cable stole mine. I'm like, yeah, no one's mentioned final tribal council tie. So there goes that. The way I think it would happen is, unless it's a 3-way tie, it would be, I don't know, 4 votes Kimmy, 4 votes Keith, 2 votes Spencer. Jeff comes back and says, well, for the first time in Survivor history, we've got a tie. Spencer, you're the loser. Kimmy and Keith tied. You are now the 11th jury member. Spencer cast the winning vote. There's no other way to do it. There is no other way unless it's a final 3 tie. Like, build fire? Come on, that's dumb.
That'd be a smart one.
So that's the only way I see it happening, and I'd love it if Keith was third. So they're like, "What? Now I have to."
We
vote?
bring
What's
in
happening?"
the person who didn't quite make the cast. Shane Powers will decide the winning vote.
Yes, the 12 who didn't get on get to make up a new jury.
Shane Powers just walks out. Fuck you.
Shane and T-Bird all get to vote. That would be amazing.
Man, I'm gonna vote for Keith.
Oh, bring back.
She just votes for Lex, just for no reason at all.
So, yeah, that's right. That he did have the urn. The other theory I said to Ben is maybe they'll say, like, for the first time ever, we are going to go to a vote without an immunity challenge right here, right now, to get the numbers down to 3, which, granted, is not a Survivor first because they did that in Cook Islands with the damn bottle twist. But you know how the advertising is with Survivor, where they say a Survivor first, and it's really like a Survivor 6th by that point. Like, they're really crap. Yeah, they're really bad at advertising. So I think it's probably what Alec and Julian and Cable brought up, the double idol, but I hope it's a double tribal council, final tribal council tie. So then, just to summarise, I think people are going to be tweeting and getting angry, and people would be outraged if that's happened. I don't want it, but I would be fine with a Final 4. Because imagine seeing Wentworth, Tasha, Spencer, and Jeremy. That would be the most insane Final Tribal Council
Do
ever.
you
There would be
feel,
like
though,
3 votes here.
Do you feel, though, if they had a Final 4, it would just be so rushed trying to get 4 people to, like... I don't know.
Already?
Well, no rush than having to do 3 tribal councils and
Well,
then do a
I
final
guess
tribal
exactly. And that's what I worry about. Like, as 10 jury people doing their speech, they're just going to, like, skip over some people with answering questions. And, yeah, I don't know.
Wentworth won't get a question.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Kelly.
I'm not saying-
Thanks, Kelly.
Yeah, I'm not saying do the final tribal final 4. I don't want that. I'm just saying if it happened for this All-Star season, not a regular season, it would make for a very interesting final and less chance for goats. So again, I'm not saying I want it to be happening, but I'm just kind of fine with it. It would be so outraged, but I'm just like meh if it's just for this one season.
The one I just quickly thought of is this would never happen, because if it did, it would be the most stupidest thing ever, is that for the first time ever in Survivor history, 31 seasons, the two people with the most votes will both go home. Like, it just throws out a complete random thing like right now. Like, oh, that would be worse, I think, than you said, no.
That's why we like Survivor over other dumb reality shows.
Yes. One thing I want to quickly do, which, actually no, I'll do this towards the end, because what we generally do in the penultimate episode is rank. Like, I want you to all list in terms of your 6. Like, I want you to rank them from 6 to 1. So I've pre-warned you right now, each 4 of you, think about that right now, because that will be the last question I ask you in this episode. So, just quickly going over a few housekeeping thingamabiggies. In our power rankings of the points, congratulations, Noah Groves. You got 2 points this week because you had Abby Marie dead last week.
Yeah.
So you go from last to equal second with that. So heading into the final week, Colin's on 9, Jared's on 7, Noah's on 7, and I'm on 6. So I'm not going to win that. But, well, look, I could get my predictions all correct, so maybe I could. In the sweep, fuck you all. Fuck you, Spencer. Fuck you, Tasha. Fuck you, Jeremy. You've just lost me $30. Not really. I don't want them to, I like them all. So apologies for offending them if they're listening, which they're not. Sweep-wise, what have we got here? Only Julian on this episode has got his pony still in it. Spencer?
Yeah.
Julian? Oh, you do too. Sorry, Alex. I apologise. You do.
Yeah, what the crap?
I was reading the wrong name. I'll go to Julian first. Julian, how are you feeling?
Well, I actually have a weird premonition that the next vote is going to be this double idol thing, and Spencer's going to get, like, I'd be feeling all right if I didn't think of this thought, but yeah, I think he might go next. But if not, he's got a decent chance in a final Tribal Council situation to win it. So if he can get past that.
Alec, you've got Kelly. I apologise. You've been feeling all right for a while now, haven't you?
I felt alright until I think it was I felt alright until around the Wigglesworth vote out, because that there was shown some when the witches were talked about and stuff, and now it's just kind of been she's chugging along. She's starting to not become as much of a winner as everybody probably thought. So I still feel okay, but I have a chance. If there's a final 4, watch her get 4th. I'd just watch.
Sorry to say, if there's a final 4, you don't get anything for 4th. You're still only the top 3.
Exactly.
We haven't quite worked out the maths there. Well, we could, but maybe we'll discuss that.
So I'm still feeling decently okay, but not nearly as confident as I was when I said I was counting my cash. So
right, okay. I forgot to ask the weekly Tom Shembry question. Hi, Tom. You can join us. He said. His question was, what do we think the big twist is next week? The first time in 31 seasons. We've already answered that. Thanks, Tom. Cable, we don't have a question from you this week because you're on the episode. The other ponies, just quickly, for those at home who care about this for some reason, Clifton's still in it. He's got Tash. James has got Kimmy. Nick, stop waiting, Nick, has Jeremy. And Patrick has Keith. So, for those rooting at home, whatever. Predictions pre-season. I won't drag this out. I definitely didn't get the point. I said Abby would be 3rd boot, so I said 17th. Noah, you said she would be 16th. You're gone. Cable, you said she'd be 3rd. You were feeling confident for a while there, Cable. So sadly not. Alec, you said she would be 18th. Julian, you didn't give me any pre-season, but the points this week go to Tom. Tom said she would be 8th. So 1 off there. So Tom moves up to 4 points. I'm still leading, equal with Clifton on 6. Noah, you've got 2 points. Cable has 1. The only person not to have any points so far. Alec, you haven't got any. Sorry, Alec.
Well, my winner pick went on first, so I kind of screwed over everything. So
Paul has none. Just quickly, in terms of the final 6, who have I got? No, I'm not going to throw that. We'll be here all night. We didn't talk about confessionals at all this week, did we? Well, we sort of did. Kimmy got none. Spence got a lot. So did Tasha.
Tasha got the most.
So generally I'll ask now who's your tip to win and who's next to go and all that, but I'm going to cancel all that out right now and I'm going to get you to give me your productions. I want you to give me your order from 6th, 5th, 4th third, second, and then who your winner is. So, Julian, I'm going with you
good.
first.
I've just been scribbling them down the last couple of minutes. I've got them here. Spencer, I feel like, will go next, followed by Keith, because he's a challenge threat. They don't want him to win it. Kelly, Wentworth. Then the final three will be Tasha, Kimmy, and Jeremy, of which Jeremy will win.
So is Kimmy runner-up and Tasha third?
Oh, that's Kimmy is runner-up and Tasha's third because I dislike her.
Okay. Hey, Belle.
Well, I think Julian just stole my thunder because I kind of sort of think that's maybe the order it'll finish, but this is the order I want it to finish in. Spencer next, Jeremy and Tasha next, and the final three of Kelly, Keith, and Kimmy.
So Kimmy wins?
Kelly. I back Kelly.
I want you to give me the order. I don't want your wants. I don't want your final three. I need your order.
Okay.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
1, Kelly.
Okay.
Second, Keith. Third, Kimmy. And then Jeremy, Tasha, Spencer.
Jeremy.
I would love that.
I would be happy with that too.
Alec, give me your order, please.
Sixth, Keith, because I feel if this is this double idol play, Spencer might have immunity and they'll vote out Keith because he's the biggest challenge that. Fifth, I have Kimmy, just because if you get rid of those two and then you have the final four, they're like most like edited and like the biggest chances to win and stuff. Fourth, I have Kelly Wentworth, because as I said, I think she's going to get fourth. And then third, Tasha. Second, Spencer. First, Jeremy.
Alrighty. Noah, give me your 6.
This is probably going to be miserably wrong. I think I got literally every single spot wrong for worlds apart. 6th, Keith, physical threat taken out on the bottom already. 5th, even though I've got him first in the power rankings, maybe Spencer, because of this double idol we keep talking about. Like, Jeremy and Wentworth are going to be dumb not to play the idol at 5th if they're both around. So someone's got to go. 4th, I think Kelly gets there because she uses her idol at 5th, but then maybe she's taken out. Final 3, Kimmy, sadly, the older lady, 0 vote gets, which would break my heart. I hope she's the winner. Tasha, second place, maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 votes, who knows. Jeremy, the winner. Not unanimously, but close to it. But in saying that, I seriously could see Spencer or Wentworth or Tasha winning. This is just a complete guess.
Alright, because no one gives a shit about my opinions, I'm going to give mine anyway. Keith, well, thank you, Julian. That means a lot. Keith will sadly go next. He will be 6th. Kimmy will sadly go in 5th, just missing out on that top 4. Spencer will go 4th. Tasha will be 3rd and not get a single vote at Final Tribal. Jeremy will be the runner-up, and Kelly Wentworth will be the winner of this season. I called it. I called it pre-season. This is the first time in my entire life that my pre-season pick to win has made it to the finale. So I'm kind of not caring that Abby's gone, because she was just handed to me. Hi Ben, have Abby. So this is me potentially picking a winner pre-season. Doesn't happen ever. So,
can we go around quickly and just say who we really want to win? I think I know what most people, but just to...
So in terms of your favourite, you're like absolute, you have the power right now. You got to give me one name who you most want to win. Okay, go for it, Julie.
I'll go for so Kelly, definitely Kelly.
Cable?
I've got 2 Kelly Wentworth shirts, so I'd have to say Kelly.
Alec?
Kelly.
Oh, wow, okay. I'll spit another K name to get a lot of votes here. Noah?
Well, I didn't vote for Kelly Wentworth on the season, so I'm the odd one out here, clearly. Not that I dislike her. I'm not joking. Keith, no, actually, no, scrap that. I'm not joking. Kimmy Kappenberg. I'm being
wow, you put Kimmy over
that
Keith?
Would be the greatest. No, Keith, I prefer Keith as a player, but is Kimmy Kappenberg not the greatest second chance comeback story in the history of the show, besides Wigglesworth, coming back from being the annoying chicken vegetarian woman who went out early in season 2, all this time later, to come on and play a pretty decent strategic, social, and physical game to go on and win it. That's a great story, surely. So I'm not joking when I say Kimmy, but I'd love a Keith one too.
I'm there with Noah. I said it last week. I'm saying it again. If Kimmy Kappenberg wins this season, it's the greatest thing in the history of Survivor. What I'm going to get a tattoo, or is that something else? I can't remember. But like, fuck, like that would just be the best thing ever. Kimmy to win Survivor.
You have to get a tattoo saying Kimmy made it to the final tribal council.
I will get a tattoo saying Kimmy. Like, I'll do it. So just quickly as well, before we wrap this quickly with our hashtags. So just on the final 6.
Hello, Jar Jar.
Who has improved? Who will leave this season definitely improving? Kimmy, obviously. Kelly, obviously. Jeremy, obviously. Tasha, was she 5th or 6th in Cagayan?
6th.
She was 6th.
So she lost one more vote. She improved.
Out of 18, though.
Spencer was 4th, so he's got a couple. Which leaves Keith is also 4th. So, yeah, we could potentially have all of these.
Interesting that so many people who made it that far have made it that far again.
Yeah, and Abby as well. She's sort of similar placement.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
There you go. All right. This time next week, we will be talking about a new winner. Spencer, Jeremy, Tash, Kimmy, Keith, or Kelly's about to be a millionaire in 7 days, and maybe they would go and spend it on seeing Star Wars. How funny would it be if like Spencer Spencer doesn't show up? Where's Spencer? Where is he? Oh, he's just seeing Star Wars for the 87th time.
No, but it wouldn't have come out in America then.
Oh, that's true. Well, the midnight session that night, like, Jeff, hurry it up.
No, but
come into the after party. No,
I got a 1 o'clock showing of Star Wars.
I'm pretty sure it comes out on the 18th over there, doesn't it?
Oh, Colin said that he doesn't get to see it at midnight. He's got to wait till the next day. So,
yeah, it comes out.
It was just
17th.
I guess we have an American on the episode, so we really should be asking him directly. You got your tickets yet, Alec?
No, I'm one of those people that would rather wait until it's like not super crowded.
I thought you were about to say wait till it's like on Blu-ray. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you? I'm one of those people who wait to see it on TV.
I'll probably wait 20 years, then I might watch.
I'll just wait for the new trilogy to come out, then I'll watch them all on Netflix.
I'll wait till like Star Wars 20
of watching
comes
things
out.
Yes.
Speaking of things, watching things on TV, I think we did a podcast a couple of weeks ago, and you and Noah made the joke about what's that movie? The ice skating one again?
Blades of Glory.
Blades of Glory.
Blades of Glory, and that was on about a week later on Go or whatever.
No, it wasn't on Go. It was on, I think,
it really?
11, or it was on a different channel.
Yeah.
Different channel had the rights to it now. Wasn't Go.
They've stolen.
But I thought that was just so
They've
funny.
stolen.
Anyway, Blades of Glory Oz coming soon. Hashtag for this episode.
Those
Hashtag for this
become
episode
too
of Survivor Oz. Julian, you can go first because you want to use one that you booked in hours ago.
It's got to be penultimate for the Survivor Oz episode, and for the episode of Survivor, Keith on Mars.
Sorry, I love the fact that, Gabe, when you bring up, that ice skating movie, Zachary Chong's first thought, Ice Princess? was that the one with Michelle Trachtenberg in it?
Yeah.
Are you talking about Snow Dogs, stupid?
I'll watch Ice Princess if it's got Michelle Trachtenberg and yum. Hello.
Exactly.
Well, fuck, what are we doing? I no more guess the song Zachary Chong. We guessed all the songs, Zachary. We used all of them. All the songs in the world.
Them all.
They're all done. Noah, hashtag and hashtag.
For this one, hashtag 6 days to Star Wars. And for the episode, and I can't believe it, but hashtag we made it to the finale. It's already there. It's gone by so quickly.
K-Bell.
Hashtag for the episode is payback's a bitch. And the hashtag for this episode, oh, geez, I haven't got one. I'm out.
Best hashtag ever. Great.
What a way to finish off the season.
We will be back next week for the final Oztopsy of the season.
Hey.
Time.
Hey, Alec.
Oh, Alec.
Hashtag.
I thought I sent you. Oh, sorry,
Why do you
Alec.
keep forgetting me?
Oh, sorry. I apologise. Call me
Hashtag
Keith.
for the episode of Survivor, second chance puzzle. That was like the best moment. Hashtag for this episode of Survivor Oz, I would say Abby as JoJo.
Misa? No, I'm not going there. Thanks, Alex. Sorry. I apologise. So anyway, as I was saying, next week, our Oztopsy will be at a time TBC. I'm guessing it will be like 10:30 Australian time. So stay tuned for that. Noah and I might just go and see Star Wars again. So, Julian, you can host it.
Yeah, let's do that.
Our recap of this week, if you didn't hear, I mentioned earlier, Denise Stapley. It's funny with Denise because we've tried to get her on every single season since we had her on the show, and sadly, just schedules could not work out and we could never make it happen. So it's finally happening. We're finally getting Denise on the show to do an episode recap, and it's timed perfectly because the one person from her season that is there to talk about got the boot. So I'm sure there's lots to talk about Abby. One thing I'm going to put out there right now as well, we teased on Twitter that we have a very big interview lined up next week. Somebody from the
tried to troll people.
First 2 seasons of Survivor that we've never had on the show. So all those people saying like Greg, like, oh, we've had Greg on the show. Like, you know, come on now, people. This is Survivor Oz. And not Colleen. It is not Colleen. Because I knew as soon as I put that out there, people were going to be like, Colleen. She is from the 2nd season. And if you like your rocks, then you will get them off listening to Deb Eaton. Because as of right now, she is
out of the bag.
She's there. Hopefully, and we're fingers all crossed. Scheduled that it's going to happen. We'll be putting up a post on the weekend for you to get your questions in because we'll give you a couple more days for this one. But, yeah, this is a woman who I don't think has done a Survivor interview longer than about 5 minutes, and it actually was planned, not just called out of the blue, in a long time. So this will be incredible.
So exciting. Very exciting.
Very exciting.
Noah, I just don't get how you're like haven't gone into cardiac arrest right now.
Well, can we just point out Noah was the person talking to her to organise this? So Noah went through like 5 boxes of tissues just to get this up and running.
I was very giddy when Deb Eaton, or Deb Rich, as we'll now refer to her, replied to my message and had a conversation with me. Blew my mind.
Noah is still... That's why he's just so, like, there at the moment.
Although, we're still, like, don't get too excited because schedules may fall through, but it's freaking Deb Rich.
Yeah. Yes, Deb Rich. Making this podcast a little bit richer, and it's our Christmas present to you, if it happens. So, stay tuned.
Interview of the year.
Exactly. Stay
Sorry,
tuned.
Reed.
Sorry, Reed. Sorry, Nina. Right, so yeah, Twitter, Facebook, check us out. Keep up to date there. Julian, thank you for your time this evening.
Fab to be here again. I love to chat. Thank you.
Cable, thank you for your time this evening.
Thanks for having me. This was my last Oztopsy for the year, so I can't wait for next week. And I think Deb will be very excited to hear that she's part of our intro. So.
Yes, because people listen to those. Noah, thank you.
Thank you. One more episode left, and bring on the Deb Eaton interview. It's going to be the interview of the year. Just let's think about it. Next week is Survivor Cambodia All-Stars, Second Chance finale, a new Star Wars film in 10 years, and a Deb Eaton or a Deb Rich interview. Best week ever.
No, I just had a random thing.
Christmas has been made.
You know what's funny about Star Wars coming out next week? Somebody was talking about what movies come out this week. Apparently, cinemas are not releasing any movies this week because they know it will have to go against Star Wars in a few days. And that is like a legitimate fact. So, that is the power of Star Wars. Now, I've got nobody else to say goodbye to. Do I? Not forgetting anyone?
No dressmaker too?
Don't think I've missed... Oh, Alec! Hello, you're there still. Hello, Alec. Thank you for being here on the episode and getting up nice and early for us.
No problem. Now I'm going to go do a 5-piece puzzle in 15 seconds.
I thought you were about to say I'm going to do a fart, but anyway. And yes, Zachary, hello to you and goodbye to you. And Catherine and everybody else. Ruben and Kate, who's left, and everybody else in the group I'm not saying goodbye to.
And Deb.
And Deb. We love you all. Even though there's 6 of you, so I probably should go over you by name, but I'm not, so fine. So, yes, thank you. We'll be back next week, and make sure you check your Wii, the Nintendo one. Good night.